Rebecca and I are laughing so hard we can barely breathe, passing her phone back and forth to look at the Venmo notification again. $850 from Zack. For rent he doesn't even know went up 3 months ago. "Girl, your ex is still sending money," Rebecca wheezes, wiping tears from her eyes. "How stupid is this guy?" "Not my ex," I correct her, taking another hit from the joint we're sharing on the back porch of my mom's place in Birmingham. "We never actually broke up. He just moved out and stopped talking to me. Guess he forgot to cancel the automatic payments." It's been 4 months since Zack finally figured out what was really going on. 4 months since his little dramatic exit from our apartment. 4 months of him still paying my bills like the pathetic puppy he always was. The funny thing is, I never even liked him that much. Let me explain how I ended up with a personal ATM machine who thought he was my boyfriend. It started in foster care, which is where you learn real quick that everybody's using everybody. You either figure out how to play the game, or you get played. I figured it out early. My first group home placement was in Montgomery when I was 14. That's where I learned the rules. The house mom, Sandra, had her favorites. The girls who snitched, helped her skim grocery money, or looked the other way when her boyfriend Carl spent too much time in our rooms at night. I wasn't going to be one of those girls. But I watched how they operated, how they got extra privileges, better clothes, permission to go out on weekends. Knowledge is power, and I collected secrets like baseball cards. By the time I landed in the Mobile group home at 17, I was a professional. I knew which staff members could be manipulated with tears, which ones responded to flirtation, which ones just wanted to feel like saviors. I knew how to work the system. Fake suicide attempts for attention, but not serious enough for the psych ward. Behavioral outbursts timed perfectly before court dates to seem troubled but trying to get better. The other girls hated me because I got what I wanted. Extra phone time, late curfews, the best bed by the window. They called me fake, manipulative, a user. Like those were bad things. Like they weren't all trying to do the same thing, just worse at it. I was 17 when I got placed in the same group home as April in Mobile. Sweet, naive April, who still believed in family and love and all that Disney movie crap. She showed me a picture of her older brother one day, this skinny college kid with a nervous smile. "That's Zack," she said proudly. "He's studying art at South Alabama." He visits when he can. I studied the photo. Not my type at all. Too scrawny, too eager-looking. But April mentioned he worked 2 jobs to put himself through school. 2 jobs meant steady money. And I was about to age out of foster care with nothing but a garbage bag of clothes and a system that would cut me loose the day I turned 18. "He's single?" I asked, already knowing the answer. Guys like Zack were always single. April's face lit up. "Yeah, you interested?" Was I interested in a meal ticket out of poverty? Absolutely. The setup was almost too easy. April was desperate to play matchmaker. Probably thought she was doing us both a favor. She gave Zack my number, showed him my carefully selected photos, the ones where I looked sweet and innocent, not the ones from my private Instagram where I was doing body shots off my friend Tyler at house parties. I spent 2 hours picking those photos. Had to look vulnerable enough to trigger his savior complex, but pretty enough to keep him interested. Deleted all my social media history, made new accounts. Rachel 2.0, foster care survivor looking for genuine connection. God, men are so stupid. The first video call. I wore this oversized sweater I stole from Goodwill. No makeup except some lip gloss. Kept my voice soft, looked away from the camera like I was shy. I'd practiced in the mirror for days. The vulnerable lip bite. The way to tuck my hair behind my ear. The sad little smile that said, "I've been hurt, but I'm trying to trust again." "You seem different from other girls," he said after our 3rd call. I had to mute myself so he wouldn't hear me laughing. Different? I was playing a character I'd seen in every romantic movie about damaged girls who just need the right guy to fix them. But sure, Zack, I'm different. Zack was exactly what I expected. Nervous on our video calls, stumbling over his words, taking forever to text back because he was busy with work. Perfect. The unavailable ones always fall the hardest once you hook them. I played the role flawlessly. Shy foster girl who just needed someone to care about her. Told him about my abusive parents, left out the part where I was the one who called CPS on them for drug use because I was mad they wouldn't buy me a new phone. Told him I didn't talk to multiple people, which was technically true since Tyler, Deshawn, and Jerome weren't people I was talking to, just hooking up with. The first time we met in person, I knew I had him. He showed up at the foster home on Valentine's Day, skinny and shaking like a scared rabbit. I'd already decided I was going to sleep with him. Guys get stupid when you give them sex right away. They start thinking with the wrong head, making dumb decisions like asking the first girl who touches them to be their girlfriend. 3 times in one afternoon, he probably thought he'd hit the jackpot. Really, I was just investing in my future. Every moan, every, "You're so amazing," every fake orgasm was a down payment on getting out of that group home. I'd learned from Tyler how to make it seem mind-blowing. The way to arch your back, the sounds to make, when to dig your nails in just enough. Zack was so inexperienced, he couldn't tell the difference between performance and passion. When I whispered, "I've never felt like this before," in his ear, he actually believed me. Meanwhile, I was calculating rent prices in my head. The Golden Corral date was almost too perfect. Him trying so hard to impress me at a buffet restaurant, pulling out my chair like we were at some fancy place instead of watching families pile mac and cheese next to fried chicken. April and her boyfriend thinking they were witnessing some beautiful love story beginning. "I want to make this official," he said the next night, actually getting down on one knee in the group home's common room. "Will you be my girlfriend?" The other girls watched from the doorway, rolling their eyes. They knew what I was doing. But April had her hands clasped together like this was some fairy tale, and I played my part perfectly. The surprised gasp, the hand over my heart, the single tear rolling down my cheek. "Yes," I whispered, then louder for everyone to hear. "Yes, of course." Hook, line, sinker. The relationship was work, I'll admit. Pretending to care about his boring life, his dead-end jobs, his community college classes. But then I found out about the independent living program. Free apartment if you aged out of foster care. All I needed was to prove I could pay rent. Enter Zack, my proof of income. "I'm thinking about getting my own place through this program," I told him one night on video call, making my voice small and uncertain. "But I don't know if I can afford it alone." "Maybe I could help," he offered immediately, just like I knew he would. "I mean, if you need a roommate or something?" Too easy. These nice guys, they're all the same. Show them a little attention, a little skin, shed a few tears about your hard life, and they'll empty their bank accounts trying to save you. But I needed a backup plan. That's where Rebecca came in. Rebecca and I had history from a different group home. We'd fooled around when we were both 15, bored and high on pills we stole from the house mom's purse. She was just as broke and desperate as me, working the same angles with different guys. When I told her about my setup with Zack, she wanted in. "Just crash with us for a while," I told her. "He's too much of a pussy to say no." I was right. Zack just accepted it when Rebecca never left. Started paying for her food, too, her part of utilities, everything. The best part was making him think it was his idea to support both of us. I'd sigh about how hard Rebecca had it, how she couldn't find work, how worried I was about her. He'd offer to cover her expenses just until she got on her feet. She never got on her feet. Why would she? We had a live-in wallet who went to work every day while we sat around getting high, going to clubs, hooking up with guys who actually turned us on. The manipulation was an art form. Tuesday nights, I'd cook his favorite meal, spaghetti with jarred sauce, nothing fancy, and act like the perfect girlfriend. Wednesday through Saturday, while he worked doubles, Rebecca and I would blow through his money at bars, using his credit card for Uber rides to guys' apartments. "Where were you last night?" he'd ask when he found makeup smeared on my pillow. "Rebecca had a panic attack," I'd say, making my eyes water on command. We drove around talking about her trauma. You know how hard her childhood was. He'd immediately feel guilty for questioning me. Men are so easy when you weaponize their own decency against them. Zack wanted to be the good guy so badly that he'd gaslight himself before admitting I was lying. Oh, that's the part that really gets me. Zack thought I had a low sex drive. I told him that after the first month when the thought of him touching me started making my skin crawl. Low sex drive? I was sneaking out 3 nights a week to hook up with Tyler in his truck. I just had standards and Zack didn't meet them. But the real fun started when Mom got a new boyfriend. Jack was everything Zack wasn't. Older, rough around the edges, actually knew how to handle a woman. He'd catch me looking and smirk like he knew exactly what I was thinking. The first time was almost an accident. I'd come home early from job hunting, really from Tyler's place, and found Jack day drinking on the couch. Mom was at work, Zack was pulling a double shift, Rebecca was passed out in our room. "Your mom know you dress like that?" he asked, eyes traveling down my crop top and shorts. "Your girlfriend know you look at her daughter like that?" I shot back. The tension was electric, wrong in all the best ways. He was my mom's boyfriend. I was with Zack. But there was something thrilling about the danger, the secrecy, the power I'd have if we crossed that line. We circled each other for weeks. Accidental touches when passing in the hallway, lingering looks across the dinner table. Him finding excuses to be shirtless when Mom wasn't home. Me finding excuses to bend over in front of him. "This is so messed up," he said the first time he kissed me, pressing me against the washing machine while it rumbled beneath us. "Then stop," I challenged, knowing he wouldn't. He didn't. "Your mom's boyfriend is kind of hot," Rebecca said one night while we were pre-gaming in my room, Zack at work as usual. "Right?" I laughed. Sometimes I catch him checking me out too. "Bet you won't do anything about it." She was wrong. I did do something about it, multiple times. In my mom's bed when she was at work, in the bathroom during family dinners while Zack sat at the table talking about his shift. Once in Zack's car when I borrowed it to run errands. Jack was into some weird stuff too. Wanted pictures, videos, wanted Rebecca involved. Whatever, I was high most of the time anyway. Mom's pills made everything fuzzy and fun. Plus, it was kind of hilarious sneaking around with her boyfriend while mine paid all our bills. The group chat with me, Rebecca, and Jack. Wild. The pictures we sent, the videos, the planning for our next hookup. I saved it all in a hidden folder, not because I was sentimental, but because you never know when you might need blackmail material. Rebecca had joined in after walking in on us in the bathroom one afternoon. Instead of freaking out, she just laughed and said, "Room for one more?" That's when I knew she was perfect for my plan. The more tangled the web, the more power I had. Jack couldn't expose me without exposing himself. Rebecca couldn't judge me when she was doing the same thing. And Zack? Zack was too busy working overtime to pay for our lifestyle to notice anything. We got sloppy, though, started taking risks. Jack in Zack's bed while he was at work. Me wearing Jack's cologne, daring Zack to notice. Rebecca and I making out in the living room, stopping just before Zack walked in, watching his confused face as he sensed something but couldn't put his finger on it. "You're paranoid," I'd tell him when he'd ask why the apartment smelled different, or why the bed sheets were changed. "Maybe you need to relax more. You work too much." Then I'd distract him with tears about how hard it was to find a job, how worthless I felt, how lucky I was to have him supporting me. He'd end up comforting me, apologizing for doubting me, promising to work extra shifts so I wouldn't stress about money. God, he was pathetic. But pathetic paid the bills, so I kept him around. Zack almost found out so many times. He'd pick up my phone and I'd panic, snatching it back with some excuse. He started getting suspicious, trying to check my messages when he thought I was asleep. That's when I started deleting things regularly, keeping everything in Snapchat where it would disappear. "Why are you always on your phone?" he'd whine. "Who are you talking to?" "Just Rebecca," I'd say, which was partially true. "You're being paranoid." The thing about guys like Zack is they want to believe you. They need to believe you. Because accepting the truth, that they're being used, that they're pathetic, that everyone's laughing at them behind their back, would destroy their whole identity. So he kept paying, kept working his 2 dead-end jobs, kept coming home exhausted while Rebecca and I ordered DoorDash with his credit card and made plans for the weekend. He'd ask to join us sometimes, these sad puppy dog eyes hoping we'd include him. "It's a girls' night," I'd say. "You understand?" He'd nod and go to his room to play video games while we got ready to hit the clubs. Sometimes I'd feel a tiny bit bad seeing him all alone while we headed out. Then I'd remember he chose this. Nobody forced him to be a sucker. The night he found out was actually kind of impressive. I didn't think he had it in him to go through my phone like that. Rebecca and I were getting ready to fool around. Yeah, we still did that sometimes when we were bored, and I left my phone unlocked. When I came back, he was shaking, like literally trembling, holding my phone with this look on his face like someone had died. "What the hell are you doing with my phone?" I snapped, trying to grab it. You're sending pictures to Jack? Your mom's boyfriend?" "It's not what you think," I started, but honestly I was tired of pretending, tired of this whole charade. The mask was exhausting to wear every single day, watching him scramble to make me happy, listening to his boring stories about work, pretending to care about his feelings. I was 20 years old and felt like I was playing house with a child. "Actually, you know what? It's exactly what you think." His face went white. "How long?" "Months," I shrugged. "Maybe longer." "I don't keep track." But tonight we just..." "Yeah, that was boring as hell, by the way, like everything else with you." The words came out sharp, mean, finally honest. "You want to know the truth, Zack? I fake it. Every single time. You're like a golden retriever humping someone's leg, all eager and pathetic and clueless." I watched his face crumble and felt nothing. Maybe a slight annoyance that now I'd have to find a new place to live, but relief too. God, the relief of finally dropping the act. "I don't understand," he whispered. "I gave you everything. I worked doubles to pay for..." "Yeah, thanks for that," I cut him off. "Really appreciated the free ride." "But did you honestly think someone like me would actually want someone like you? Look at yourself. Skinny, broke, working 2 dead-end jobs, playing video games like a teenager. The only reason I touched you was because I needed a place to live." Each word was a bullet, and I could see them hitting. Part of me wondered if I was going too far, but the savage honesty felt incredible after months of lies. I expected him to yell, throw something, to act like a man for once. Instead, he just stared at me with these big wounded eyes before calling his friend Jerry. Jerry. I hated that guy from the start. Always trying to get Zack to respect himself and set boundaries. He showed up within an hour, glaring at me like I was trash while helping Zack pack his stuff. "This is illegal," Jerry said when he saw I was recording the conversation. "You can't record someone without their consent in Alabama." "It's a 2-party consent state," Zack said quietly. "I'm consenting." "Are you, Rachel? What was I supposed to say?" "No, don't record me admitting to cheating." So I consented, figuring it didn't matter. He'd never actually leave. They never do. Except he did. The next few weeks were annoying. No more automatic rent payments, no more grocery money, no more someone to blame when things went wrong. Rebecca and I had to actually get jobs, which lasted about 2 weeks before we both got fired for showing up high. I got the Dollar General job through my cousin who felt sorry for me. $8.25 an hour, ugly blue vest, scanning items for people who avoided eye contact. My first day, I threw up in the bathroom from withdrawal. Turns out mom's pills were harder to quit than I thought. "You're that girl who was with Zack," a customer said one day, this older black woman who knew April's family. "Heard what you did to that boy. Shame on you." She left her items on the counter and walked out. My manager wrote me up for the lost sale. That became a pattern. People in Birmingham talk. They knew who I was, what I'd done. The girl who played that nice foster boy. The one who slept with her mother's man. The trashy one from that trashy family. Some nights I'd see Zack's truck, the one he bought cash, parked outside the Publix where that nurse Brittany worked. They weren't hiding. Holding hands in broad daylight, her in her scrubs, him in his HVAC uniform, looking like a real couple, looking happy. I tried following them once, parking outside the movie theater, watching them laugh at whatever comedy they were seeing. Security asked me to leave. Apparently, Zack had noticed my car and complained about feeling stalked. Stalked? I was just curious. Just wanted to see what she had that I didn't. Besides the nursing degree, and the stable family, and the ability to love someone without destroying them. That's when things got bad with Jack. See, without Zack around his cover, Mom started noticing how much time Jack spent talking to me. She found our messages. The explosion was epic. Screaming, throwing things, calling me every name in the book. "You're just like your worthless father," she screamed. "Trash! Nothing but trash!" Jack tried to play it off like I seduced him, like he was some innocent victim. Mom kicked him out, but let me stay, probably because she needed someone to blame for all her problems. He ended up getting arrested a month later for messing with some 16-year-old at his job. Karma, I guess. I tried reaching out to Zack a few times. Not because I missed him, please, but because I needed money. My car got repossessed. The apartment program kicked me out for non-payment. I moved back in with Mom, who reminded me daily what a disappointment I was. "Hey, I know things ended badly, but I'm in a really tough spot. Could you Cash App me like $50 for food?" Read but no response. "Zack, please. I'm sorry for everything. I was messed up. Can we talk?" Blocked. Even April wouldn't talk to me anymore. Sweet, stupid April who used to think I was so cool. She found out everything from Zack and chose his side. Some foster sister she turned out to be. So now I'm here, 21 years old, living in my mom's spare room in a house that smells like cigarettes and broken dreams. Rebecca moved to Houston to stay with some sugar daddy she met online, didn't even tell me she was leaving until the day of. Mom's new boyfriend Kenny treats me like I don't exist, which is fine because he's gross anyway. I work at a Dollar General now, $8.25 an hour, 30 hours a week because they won't give anyone full time. You know who shops at Dollar General? People like I used to think Zack was. Poor people, desperate people, the kind of people I used to laugh at. Last week, April posted on Instagram. She was at Zack's graduation. Turns out he went back to school, got certified in HVAC repair. The caption said he just got hired at a company starting at $28 an hour with full benefits. There's a picture of him in his work uniform, and he actually looks good, confident, like a completely different person from the scared kid I met 2 years ago. "So proud of my brother for never giving up," April wrote. "From rock bottom to killing it." Rock bottom. Is that what I was to him? Rock bottom? The comments were full of congratulations. Some nurse named Brittany dropping heart emojis like she earned him. His friend Jerry saying he always knew Zack would make it. Even their mom, who I'd never met because Zack said she was too messed up, commenting how proud she was. Nobody's proud of me. Nobody's dropping heart emojis on posts about surviving another graveyard shift. Nobody's taking pictures with me at my graduation because I never graduated from anything. Sometimes, when I'm stocking shelves at 2 a.m. because that's the only shift they'll give me, I think about what would have happened if I'd played it different. If I'd actually tried with Zack instead of just using him. If I'd been faithful, gotten a real job, built something real with someone who genuinely cared about me. But that's not who I am. I'm a user. I learned it in foster care, perfected it in the real world, and now I'm living with the consequences. Zack's out there making almost $30 an hour while I'm making minimum wage. He's got friends and family supporting him while I've got a mom who can barely look at me and empty DMs on Instagram. The really messed up part? I still think I was justified. He was weak, pathetic, asking to be taken advantage of. If it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. At least I gave him a valuable lesson about not being a sucker. You could say I did him a favor. Look at him now, all successful and confident. That's because of me. Because I showed him what happens when you don't respect yourself. But late at night, when Mom and Kenny are fighting in the next room and I'm lying on this twin mattress that smells like the previous 10 foster kids who slept on it, I wonder if maybe I'm the pathetic one. Maybe I'm the one who never learned the real lesson. Because Zack got out. He made something of himself. And me? I'm exactly where I always was, just without anyone left to use. My phone buzzes. It's the Venmo ping I'd been waiting on all week. Payment failed, insufficient funds in linked account. I throw my phone across the room, finally canceled the automatic payments. Took him long enough, 4 months of free money down the drain. Time to find another sucker, I guess. That's what survivors do. We adapt. We find new marks. We use or get used. But first, I've got to get ready for my shift at Dollar General. 8 hours of scanning items for people who look at me like I'm nothing. 8 hours of remembering when I had someone who thought I was everything. Not that I care. I don't need Zack or his money or his pathetic devotion. I'm Rachel. I'm a survivor. I'll figure it out like I always do. Even if it means spending the rest of my life in this dead-end town, in this dead-end job, in this dead-end life I created for myself. At least I'm not the fool who paid for someone else's life while getting played. That's what I tell myself anyway. But when I see Brittany the nurse commenting on Zack's latest post about buying his first truck, cash, no loan needed, something twists in my stomach that feels a lot like regret. Number. Not regret. I don't do regret. I do survival. Even if surviving looks a lot like failing these days.